Hi, everybody. Today is Tuesday of the week beginning on July the 29th. We are in the Module 4 week. We're not going to have the midterm exam. As I said, we will be waiving that. We've been getting most, if not all, students have been doing their individual assignments. The individual assignment for this week is due at the end of the week, 1 p.m. on Friday, and it's going to be submitted here on the Module 4 discussion board. Nobody submitted yet, which is to be expected because most of the commentaries have been on, as they should have been, on the meetings that the teams are having, and we are at the beginning of the week, so most of the two teams probably have meetings later in the week. Everybody submitted their individual assignments for Module 3. So let me continue as I promised before. First, let me check if there are any questions so I don't have any messages. And on the Module 1, which is the module where we have generic questions and answers, please feel free to post questions here if you have any. We don't have any new questions. We have the information about the teams. No new questions. They would normally show up here. So let me go back to the report and continue discussing the sections of the report. So in the previous video I talked about this section here. Now let's talk about this one, results of the analysis. And here you have certainly the main screen with the results of the model, right? The path coefficients, the R-squared coefficients, and so on. Certainly that one you are going to include here, as well as text explaining the results. But you can also include other figures, such as, so let me go to the textbook. So here we have the application that had the moderating effect. So this would be the screenshot of the main model with the results, and here we have graphs for the moderating effect. And you could also have graphs for the effects, as long as they add something to the discussion. So for example, you could include unstandardized graphs and discuss them. As you know, the textbook provides a number of ideas on what to have in this section here, results of the analysis. Then we have the recommended actions based on the results. And again, the textbook has a number of examples of that. So that's, you need time to write these things, right? So you need time to write, and also time for all the team members to review all the sections of the report, so that you don't have major errors and problems in the report. Remember that a submission by the team is a submission that I expect to have been validated and agreed upon by everybody in the team. So if there is something outrageous in the report, it would surprise me, because there are more than two people looking at the report and reading the report. So, and I also expect the report to be free from grammatical errors, typos, etc. In other words, I want the report to be the kind of report that you would share with professionals as an example of the kind of data analysis you can do, and share that with pride as an example of high quality work that you've done. Here we have then in Appendix A, team members and contributions. And again, I'll say this, dishonesty is strongly discouraged. So, and I gave an example. If a team lists all members as having a score of 4, assuming the 4 is the maximum score, then this is an example of dishonesty, because it's nearly impossible that every single person of the team will do exactly the same amount of work. In my experience in the past, it's impossible. So, but I've seen this in the past when I did not warn teams about this, because the easy thing for the team leader to do is just to give everybody the maximum score. But this is this kind of managerial practice, and the team leaders, I strongly recommend you look at this as learning for being a manager if you're not a manager already. And when you score the work of the members of the team in terms of their contribution, honesty is something that most people would expect to be okay for you to engage in. Dishonesty, though, hurts a lot, particularly the ones that worked more. In the past, I've had teams that had conflict, and it was because free riders, and I would talk to the free riders, and they wouldn't really realize how upset the other team members that did the work were with them. And that hurt their social capital with those people, which could have hurt their prospects in the remainder of their careers. You'd be surprised how long people's careers are, and how people that knew them are consulted for references in the future. So you can actually be passed on for a great opportunity because one of your former colleagues knows that you are a free rider. So dishonesty is really problematic. Now, I should tell you a couple of important things. One, for team leaders, the team members that are not participating as much should not be surprised at the end with a low score. In other words, you should warn them right now, or as the course progresses, that they need to pick up with their contributions. Otherwise, their score will be lower than the others. You should warn them. And so you should not be a surprise for them at the end of the course. And this also applies to being a manager. There are annual evaluations, but you should warn your employees if they are not performing at the level that you would consider to be a high score performance, so that they know there is no surprise at the end of the year with the assessment. The other thing that is important is that this is not your grade. So if this were your grade, then we would be in violation of federal laws here, because I cannot share a student's grade with the rest of the class. That would be a violation of FERPA laws. So this is not your grade. In fact, I had in the past folks that were scored low here and got a very good grade, because it is possible that the score here does not reflect the person's contribution to the team. So this is why it's important that that you do your individual assignments carefully and comment on the work that you've been doing throughout the course, because I can go back to that and then compare, right, your scores with those contributions, and then talk to other people, talk to the team leader, maybe even talk to other team members and see what happened. So this is not your grade. This, like everything else, is used to come up with your grade at the end of the course, but this is not your grade. So warn the team members. And I should tell you that by the end of this week, so since this is a 7-week course and so much of the grade depends on the project, which is not due until the end of the course, there is no, I would not going to be entering grades for you right now at the end of this week. But I would tell you this: if you have not heard from me individually by the end of this week with a warning, then your grade can be either an A or a B at the end of the course. Again, I don't expect C's or lower. The way these things are going, the way the course has been going so far, I don't expect grades to be as low as that. And I already explained to you in previous videos, I believe, that you cannot graduate with 2 C's. So in a master's level core program that has master level courses, you should not be getting any C's. A's and B's are to be expected, but not C's, because you get 1 C, then the next is a suspension. So you're not going to be in good standing. You're going to have to retake one of the courses to change that C, and that's per catalog rules. So I don't expect anybody to be getting a C, but if I see this is a problem with any particular individual student, I will warn that person now at the end of this week. So if you had not heard from me by the end of this week individually, so I'll send you an email, then you have most likely you're going to have an A or a B in this course. You can still have an A at the end of the course. Okay, so let me go back. So this is this section. And again, if you have questions, please post the questions under Module 1, and I'd be happy to talk more about each one of these sections in the reports. And then here we have the letter from the client organization. It's very important to have a letter. And ideally, a letter that is more I would say that this is not as good a letter as I would expect to see. A letter that says, we will look into the recommendations, blah, 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 is not the same as we are really impressed with the recommendations and we're likely to implement them, and they will be, we believe that they will help us improve our department or the entire organization. So that kind of letter that is more emphatic, more enthusiastic would be, I guess, better than this type of letter. But we'll get what we get, right? So if you don't get a letter that is as positive, then that's fine. And again, the yellow parts, you should remove them and have only, substitute that with text. And in the case of the letter, you don't need any text. Just have the scanned version of the letter here Just make sure you don't go beyond the limit, the size limit for the report, which is 1 megabyte. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Again, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have going forward. I also, as I said in the previous video, I am available to take a look at your WarpLS file. Just please send me the file and the Excel spreadsheet with the meaning of the variables. I want to understand what the variables measure before I can comment on that, and then I'll be happy to discuss that on a video for both teams to see. And and once I tell you, look, this model is good, then all you have to do is write the report, right? So that's something that I think would be useful for your teamwork. To avoid the danger of getting to the end of the course and then you have a problem. You make a major mistake, causal assumption that makes no sense at the end, and then that would lead to probably an impact in my perception of the quality of the project. So for example, when I talk about causality, right? So for example, empathetic management techniques, it would make more sense to assume that they would affect job performance than the other way around, right? So one would expect, it would be more logical to assume that having empathetic management techniques in use would affect job performance, and in this case in a positive way, in a positive and fully mediated way, since this path coefficient here is non-significant. So this type of thing is something that I would look at, and I may even use some advanced analysis techniques to ascertain the direction of causality, which the software does generate causality assessment coefficients. So, and again, they are beyond the scope of the course, but I can use them and talk about them to help you do your analysis, and then you would learn something new as part of this course. Even though this is just a project capstone course, you could learn some new things, more advanced things in this course. So that's what I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll be getting back with you at the end of this week with the second video for the week of Module 4. Until then.